Trendy Trico once again delivers the Sinisty. And I just love how he subtly gives me video ideas. With that said, bootlickers, I have one simple request because I know you're watching as well. Ready your pacemakers because I'm about to once again break your poor little hearts. Alright, I guess I'll start here. Your Sinnoh adventure's about to get legendary trainers. How creative can they get? Introducing Romana's Park, an expansive new facility where you can encounter a variety of legendary Pokemon. Well, I don't know about expansive because it's just another returning feature that functions the same way the Ultra Warp Ride and Hoopa Rings and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire functioned, which means Romana's Park is just another legendary Pokemon get feature. But as I scroll down, attention trainers, a software update version 1.1.0 for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl will be available on November 11th. That's not all. This update will allow you to enjoy communication features in the Grand Underground and Super Contest shows, receive special items via mystery gift, and visit Romana's Park after entering the Hall of Fame. And if that's not enough, at launch a maximum of 2 players, yourself included, which means one other player will be able to battle and trade Pokemon in the Union Room. A software update will be released in the future to allow for additional players. So wait, you're telling me that a day 1 patch is required to use basic game features, and not only that, but approximately 3 gigs of memory must be available, so these communication features will not be available until this update releases, which means Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl at their core don't even contain the basic features found across every single Pokemon game to date. Wait, what the fuck is this? Some in-game movies and animation added? That's right, that also means you cannot view an actual startup screen without this day 1 patch. I mean, technically you can enjoy a black screen until you download this update, which is only a bonus for all of you OLED Switch owners out there to fap to. Get off on those deep blacks before you download this update. So to put all of this in a blunt nutshell, Game Freak and Ilca essentially said, fuck game development. Who needs it? However long it took them to make these games, rather than actually give a shit about them, they just essentially released betas of a complete product, and well, you have to download a day 1 patch for starters to get the basic functionality that came with every other Pokemon game. And for those of you out there saying, well, it's Ilca's fault, are you sure you want to play the blame game now? Like that's the paramount point in all of this? Because it doesn't excuse the fact that you can't even access basic features in these games without a day 1 patch. Now I know day 1 patches are nothing new. I can just smell the bootlickers snarling at their keyboards as they drip the soy sauce coming out of their mouths all over the keys, but do you really think that dismisses the point here? So not only is this update a hefty 3 gigs of data that you have to download, but it goes to show you how much effort was actually put into the games, doesn't it? Which means it doesn't matter if people are obviously pirating, you're still getting an unfinished product. So to all of you out there who are still in denial about these games and who's truly in charge of all of these core decisions being made towards the games in their unfinished state, you're still getting an unfinished product for $60. So feel free to pick cherries and grasp at straws all you want, because all of that suspension of disbelief bullshit is nothing more than an unintelligent mockery against the cold, harsh reality of these games. I mean, you seriously can't access a legitimate startup screen without a fucking day 1 patch. The auto experience share is one thing, but when you can't even access anything beyond a fucking black screen when you boot up a game is very telling of typical Game Freak. This is Game Freak's baby, and shades of their incompetence, laziness, and mediocrity are showing once more, and it's even worse. Cope. I mean, there's other issues with the games I'm sure you read about in the data mine, like with the audio that they pulled out of their ass that's present without the DS Sounds feature turned on. And does it help that these games were poorly made on the Unity game engine? So Nintendo and friends, I know you're going to throw another bitch fit because people are going to once again take your severely neglected IP that you did the bare minimum with, but can you truly blame them this time? And you wonder why the hacking scene, let alone fan-made games, get more attention than your lazy products that you expect everyone to mindlessly throw money at. Because of course settling for the bare minimum is the norm. By the way, concerning Ramona's Park and any Pokemon in these games with a hidden ability, it's a non-issue because remember the ability patch that was introduced in the Crown Tundra? Well, that effectively patches up any hidden ability problems when it comes to the Pokemon in these games, so there's that. It's another thing for games to naturally have bugs and all other kinds of issues at launch, just like day one patches are nothing new. But it's simply impossible, if you don't have wool over your eyes, to excuse the bare minimum put into these games that is so bad that a startup screen, mystery gift functionality, and trading with more than one other person than yourself for starters will always be something not directly connected to these games. Think about down the road, years from now, when they inevitably shut down the servers required to download these updates, and you have to consider how save data is handled on the Switch. What are people going to do when they get a fresh copy of these games? That's just something to think about, which is also a reminder that pre-purchases are absolutely fucking worthless. You get a few minutes to play the game before everyone else, and that's it. Where was there ever an advantage with this unnecessary feature? You're not going to get the download speeds that you can get on a PS5 and Xbox Series X, and as you can see here, you still can't get full functionality out of the games without this day one patch. Shifting focus a little bit here, I see what they're doing with mythical Pokemon, and while I feel that it's not that much better than the alternative where you wait on a possible event to hopefully happen in your region to get said mythical Pokemon, because otherwise you're fucked, they are at least incentivizing save files with these mythical Pokemon, which means that content is locked behind other Pokemon games, which also means that content is also locked behind a paywall. But at least these mythical Pokemon are technically in the game this time, even though Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are a better example of how to handle mythical Pokemon, considering how they did Deoxys. So you're able to get Jirachi if you have pre-existing Sword and Shield data. I hear there's some confusion going around, courtesy of the official site or whatever, fucking dummies, when it comes to what data from what Pokemon games is required to get these Pokemon, but you just need Sword and Shield data to access Jirachi and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee data to get Mew. Joe, this isn't Jirachi, this is Mew. That's Jirachi. If you're going to copy and paste data, Mr. Corrections, make sure you learn how proofreading works so you can avoid contorting truths. It's the pettiest things, ladies and gents, but Joe Corrections Merrick manages to get those things wrong more times than he should. Also, they're doing version exclusives again. Hooray! Good thing Pokemon Home and its features exist, so if you somehow feel pressured into getting these betas, you don't have to deal with this version exclusive bullshit they're still doing in Pokemon games in 2021. So yeah, not surprisingly, this is still a thing. Save files are being incentivized through mythical Pokemon, which was always a horrible concept for obvious reasons. And those Pokemon are still technically locked behind a paywall because you need to save data from the respective Pokemon games to access the Pokemon. And these games are severely troubled technically. Seriously, how do you want your startup screen? How are these games even more neglected than Sword and Shield were? Going back to the argument and cop-out of where the blame belongs, you don't see people going, oh my gosh, Genius Sonority made some of the best Pokemon games back in 2004 and 2005 with Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD. That's some of the best gameplay, core decisions, and Pokemon models I've ever seen in a Pokemon game. Game Freak should let people like that develop their games. Well, they should, but at the end of the day, Game Freak, at the end of the production of any and every Pokemon game, signs off on the dotted line. Because what Genius Sonority is truly known for when it comes to these games is some coherent 3D animation, Pokemon models, and scaling of said models that Game Freak should have been taking notes of ever since. It wouldn't hurt for them to rehire them, or Bandai Namco, when it comes to those very animations and art direction for Pokemon games. Hell, that's the clue that they need to get. That's the thing, ladies and gents. Just like Bandai Namco with new Pokemon Snap and Genius Sonority with the GameCube Pokemon games, that's Ilca's role with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, you can divide up the responsibility of the technical woes with these games between Game Freak and Ilca. Who gives a shit? Because at the end of the day, the point still stands that these games are an unfinished mess. They will play more like the betas that they are than anything resembling a complete product. I really feel for you Sinnoh fans out there. I can only imagine the level of deflation you're going through right now to have such high hopes from February up to now, and the games are not even out yet. That's why I say fuck that positivity shit. It's toxic and delusional. Would you rather have somebody lie to you and sugarcoat shit for you? That's nothing more than wool you're putting over your eyes to hide away from the mean old reality. Fuck being optimistic, be realistic. This is what you're voting on with your wallet. This is what you're getting for $60. Hold up. This is what you're getting for $60. And if you're especially astute, you'll notice that the entire time this release schedule between Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus has always been the most deliberate and convenient thing for Game Freak. They have their what the fuck ever games in the very games that you can't even access a proper startup screen in without a day one patch. And gee, it's no wonder why Pokemon Legends Arceus is getting all of the real attention and effort put into it with what we've seen so far. So they better not even think of pulling any shit like this with that game. Some could also say that, well, that's why Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are what they are. That's total bullshit. People are still paying for this unfinished shit, and they couldn't put anything more than the bare minimum towards these betas? This is your sacred cow. Who is surprised that once again the highest grossing franchise gets away with doing the bare minimum? Because just like with them incentivizing save files with mythical Pokemon, and that's another reason why they are incentivizing save files from other Pokemon games with mythical Pokemon in these games. They know that people will and have already lapped up anything Pokemon related because they are very conscious of the impressionable fan base that continues to let them get away with shit like this. Why the fuck is the screen black? Oh, I gotta press the done button. Holy shit, for a second there I thought I booted up Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.